Hello, welcome to the Garden Gurus. I'm Trevor Cochran. We've got another brilliant program for you today, packed full of down-to-earth gardening advice. I'll be taking you into my local and favourite garden centre, Waldex, to show you some of the great Christmas gifts that you can enjoy. Here's what's coming up on the show. Want to know how to get the best use of precious water in your garden? Well, Sue shares her tips. Wondering what the latest breakthrough is in fragrant roses? Well, Nev introduces the biggest breakthrough in 30 years a bit later in today's show.
The buds have got that tall, hybrid tea sort of shape about them, but when they open up, it's like a full English rose.
Dig, 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 digging around. Dig, 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 digging the ground. I got my spade, I got my hoe, I got my rake, and I'm ready to go.
Over the past 20 years, saving water in the garden is a fact of life. Many of us can remember that we didn't even think twice about turning the reticulation or the sprinklers on through the middle of the day, sometimes twice. And on a hot summer's day, we kept the kids entertained for hours under the sprinklers without even thinking about watering the lawn. I'd even go as far to say, I don't think the word water-wise was even invented. But despite how much water was going on in the gardens then, compared to now, I don't think the gardens were any better. To get the best bang for your buck this summer, follow our top water-saving tips. When you plant anything at all, reach for soil improver or homemade compost or manure to dig it into the soil. It makes such a difference to holding water around the plant's roots, and it's important for plant establishment. Look for water-wise varieties. Nowadays, every plant label has water-wise information on it. And if you're establishing a garden, head to your local garden centre. There is so much out there and reasons to save water in your garden. Ask your friends or your neighbours, or even take a look around your neighbourhood and see what's thriving and seem to look good on neglect. Mulch gives you the best return on your investment. Coarse, chunky mulch will allow any water to get to the soil surface and ultimately make its way to the plant's roots. Fine mulches tend to absorb water, and through summer, when the only water the plants get is through the irrigation system, it encourages the fine feeder roots to come to the soil surface, and it actually defeats the purpose of applying a mulch in the first place. The use of wetting agents is a necessity, and if you've got lots of pots hanging around, it will save watering by up to half. So you've got all the tips when it comes to plants, products and soil improving, but have you thought about saving water and the irrigation system? I know it seems obvious, but turning the system off when there's rain forecast will save you thousands of litres of water. And when it's done automatically, even better, bring it on. I think of it as banking for later in summer. The WX8RS Wi-Fi Irrigation Controller from Holman Industries has it all. Powering, you guessed it, 8 zones. You can manage your irrigation anywhere the internet is available. Download the Holman Home app to your smartphone and you can manage your watering schedule. You can turn the system on or off manually via the app, or even using Siri, Alexa or Google Assistant. And the bit I love is now it comes with the EV sensor. This clever sensor will take the guesswork out of when to turn the system off. The EV sensor automatically disables the system after just 5 mils of rain. Then when the sensor's dry, it sends a message back to the controller to start your scheduled watering days. Now you can follow this on the Holman app. This point alone is going to save you thousands of litres of water a year. Now, that's certainly smart gardening.
Apart from the sheer beauty that brings tourists from all over the world to see our unique Australian wildflowers, I reckon the most popular reason to grow these at home is to attract wildlife, particularly birds. There's such a diversity of species, over 24,000. You can be assured that there's an Australian plant for every position in the garden, even indoors. Included are tucker bush plants that can bring exotic new tastes to the kitchen as well. Some folks are a bit leery about growing Australian natives because of their reputation for being a bit touchy. Well, there's certainly one major family called the Proteaceae family, which contains things like grevilleas, this one's called Annie Marie, as well as Banksias and Hakeas. Now, they've evolved in low phosphate soils, so when we apply regular fertilisers which are high in phosphates, this can actually burn them off. Scots have developed potting mixes and a fertiliser to cater to this low phosphate diet, so these can be used on all Australian plants without fear of failure. Well, today I'm going to create a little kitchen garden in a pot using some bush tucker plants, and some of these are herbs. So we've got here native thyme, native celery, and this one of my favourites, the old man saltbush, lovely in salads. And lastly, the round leaf pig face. It'll trail over the side of the pot and look terrific. So let's get on with it. When feeding your native plants, apply Osmocote twice a year to get beautiful blooms like these. Because it releases its nutrients slowly over 6 months, there's no wastage or leaching into the waterways. So don't let any fears get in the way of introducing some of the treasures of Australia's flora into your garden.
Don't you just love the striking colours that you get with bougainvillea? This here is Scarlet O'Hara, and in front, I love this one, it's white prolific. And what's interesting is the colour actually comes not from the flower, but from the bracts around the flower, which are modified leaves designed to attract the insects for pollination. In they come and they do their thing.
It's almost here, the special time of the year when we all share the love, Christmas. And after a year we will never forget as a planet, I reckon the gift that will work best is the gift that keeps on giving, a beautiful potted plant. So I've headed to my local garden centre, Waldex, who have been serving up great plants, pots and gifts to West Australian gardeners for over 50 years. These guys know what they're doing. The great thing about a traditional garden centre is they're the one-stop shop. Beautiful plant matched with a beautiful pot makes the perfect gift. But if you want something completely unique, you could pick that pot with this plant and create a unique gift that the person who receives it will remember forever. Waldex are a great example of a traditional garden centre. Australian owned and family operated, they employ qualified horticulturalists and stock plants and pots that you just won't find in the mass merchants. In other words, everything is unique and special, just the way a personal gift between friends and family should be. Now, talk about unique gifts. The pottery collection has come from all over the world, and there are pots that have come out of places like Europe, the latest trends, or these ones, which are the latest trends out of Asia. You take these beautiful poinsettias, put 1 or 2 in a pot like this, and you've got the ultimate Christmas spirit in a pot. There is another thing about giving a living gift that's really important. Indoor plants are good for our physical and mental health. And after a year like we've had, that's something we should all be working on. A healthy, happy environment to live in. And what better way to do it than with gorgeous indoor plants? Oh, and one more thing. Small business has been significantly impacted by the pandemic, and your support now is more critical than ever. Independent garden centres don't just offer top quality and unique plants and products for the garden and home. They offer a level of professional service you just can't find elsewhere. And they need your support, so spread the cheer and get into your local garden centre, like my local Waldex here, and get all your Christmas gifts sorted.
Many studies have been done on the effect that talking to your plants has, with some very interesting and positive results. Perhaps it's the sound vibrations stimulating the cells. Some say it's the breath. Or maybe it's the response from neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. One thing's for sure, just like humans and animals, they love a well-balanced diet, and after a big surge of spring growth, they're well due for a feed. Telltale signs of nutrient deficiency and hunger for nitrogen, iron, manganese and magnesium, to name a few, are yellow leaves, yellowing between the veins, brown or purple tints, brown edges and stunted growth. This is why it is important to feed your plants regularly. A fast and very effective way to feed is with a liquid, and Tro Forte has the full dietary complement with all the necessary nutrients. It's a highly concentrated liquid that can be used in two ways. You can click it on the hose for larger areas and the whole garden, or you can mix it up in the watering can for smaller areas and individual plants. It feeds for up to 3 months and becomes rain-fast after just 2 hours, forming a nearly invisible gel on the leaves, locking in the nutrients. As well as all the nutrients, it also contains seaweed, which not only feeds your plants, but also feeds the all-important beneficial soil microbes, which is why you should use this in conjunction with the Tro Forte granular fertilisers. Nutrient deficiencies are very much soil pH related, so testing your soil and making the relevant adjustments is also a great idea to get the most out of your plant foods and your plants. And by all means, talk to them while you're doing it.
After producing the world's #1 ground cover rose flower carpet, the German breeder Werner Noack and his son Reinhard then spent the next 24 years developing something even more breathtaking. A rose with a list of characteristics as long as your arm. This is their splendid result, a full series of roses called Showpiece, an appropriate name for these truly special bush roses. Just like flower carpet, these have been introduced worldwide by Anthony Tesla plants. Every Showpiece rose is highly fragrant, and there's 4 colours in the range at the moment, with many more to come. The buds have got that tall, hybrid tea sort of shape about them, but when they open up, it's like a full English rose. Now, these make a great show in the garden, but they also make a terrific show inside your home in a vase. No one wants to spray any chemicals these days, so one of the breeder's principal goals is to build in high disease resistance. All Showpiece roses share these genes and are top of the class for fighting off diseases like black spot and mildew. One of the tricks to getting even more flowers is to cut off the old, spent blooms. They don't just do it underneath the bloom itself, but come right down here and get a decent length of stem. Flowering commences in late spring and goes right through to the dead of winter or the first frosts, whichever come first. And abundance, it's a term that beautifully describes the sheer number of blooms that you're going to get. One result of all this breeding success is an easy care rose, and I reckon that's just what's needed for today's gardeners, be they new or experienced. Now, I have to let you into a secret. There's only one difficulty I can see associated with these Showpiece roses, and that is choosing the right colour.
This Echium's finished flowering now, just the remnants of the old flowers. I actually quite like the green here, but when it's in full bloom, it's an amazing deep blue. But the tip now is, once they've finished, you should cut off the dead flowers so that the plant can then put energy into growing the shrub and being bigger and ready for next year's display, which is going to be absolutely sensational. So dead flowers, remove them.
Bring the taste of Asia to your garden this summer with some hardy, fast-growing edibles. Now, they all absolutely love the hot weather. All you need is a little bit of space because there's a few climbers amongst them. The snake bean comes from Asia and grows upwards, so you don't need a wide area. They've evolved in tropical and subtropical areas and grow so fast. They benefit from a small amount of complete nutrients added to the soil at planting to get them started. The beans are enormous and taste great raw or cooked. A few plants should feed a family over summer. Bitter gourd is also a climber and will cover a frame that will protect more tender veggies underneath. The small cucumber-shaped fruit will hang down and are harvested when the fruit is about 10 to 15 centimetres long. It's really hard to grow coriander in the summer months because true coriander bolts to seed almost immediately. So that's why you plant perennial coriander, also known as sawtooth coriander. Now, the leaves have that familiar coriander flavour and it's just fantastic for stir fries or curries. There you have it. 3 gorgeous Asian flavours that will add another dimension to your cooking. To get your hands on the Swan Valley Nursery Tasting Asia range, visit this website.
Kalinda Anderson is a familiar face to the gurus. She's a water garden guru, and what she doesn't know about fish, plants, ponds, filtration and aquaponics isn't worth knowing. Her business, Woodvale Fish and Lily Farm, is located in Perth, but it provides water gardening everything all over Australia. So, Kalinda, obviously at the moment we're changing seasons. What do you do with aquaponics as you're moving into the summer?
Well, obviously, winter's finished, our rainbow trout have gone, and now's our time to think about our summer fish, like barramundi or perhaps silver perch.
And what should you do in the transition? That's the bit I'm really interested in. So I've taken my trout out.
Yes.
I've basically got the tank sitting empty at the moment, but the whole system's still circulating.
Well, this is the opportunity to do any maintenance that you want to do now because it can be quite disruptive to the fish if you have to do any big clean-outs.
Yep.
And we do know that a lot of aquaponic fish like barramundi and trout don't eat algae, so that may have built up in the tank. So this is a great time to get in there and do a really good clean. Check your pump, check your air pump, check your air lines, replant any vegetables that you might want to do for the season because when you haven't got fish in there, there's a lot less risk.
Well, Kalinda, this is amazing. It's obviously early setup, so this is the first...
Well, it doesn't look amazing right now because it's only just been planted, and this is really what you can expect when you start you off with your seedlings. They're probably going to droop a little bit, and those initial leaves may dry off, but then they'll just come back in a week or 2. And
I can see you've got a mixture of perennial and annual in here. That looks like corn?
Yeah, it is. I haven't actually done corn before, but I believe it'll be a great grower, and who doesn't like eating a corn on the cob? And then there's kangkung, which is actually a water plant. It grows so well in the summer months. I'm growing a lot of it this year because I just love to eat it.
And so for people who don't know, so what the plants are doing is water's being filtered up through here. The plants are taking up the excess nutrient and growing using that nutrient.
Correct.
Cleaning the water, which is dripping back in here. And look at the size of these fish. That barramundi is enormous.
They are. We actually grew these from like 2-centimetre babies in our greenhouse over the winter months.
Wow.
And we've actually mixed in here some koi, which is not a bad idea because rainbow trout and barramundi don't eat any algae. And that can build up in the tank, which is quite annoying. It doesn't hurt anything. It's quite natural and normal, but it is unsightly and it can sort of clog up the pump. So we usually put a couple of decent-sized koi in there and they will be turning over the gravel and eating algae all the time. And they live together quite well. Bear in mind, if you've got huge barramundi, they can eat up to 60% of their own body size. So you want to have a few larger koi.
So I get a lot of people ask the question, they don't have any fish in their tank, they're just replanting up here, they're not sure if they can use fertilisers and what the effect would be on them.
That's a brilliant question and I get asked that a lot as well. Generally, if you've got a grow bed that's quite mature, it will be a nutrient bank. So there'll be enough nutrient in there for the plants for 6 to maybe 8 weeks, depending on how heavily planted it is. But if they are suffering or a bit yellowing or you're not sure, you can add power feed sea salt at any time with confidence. And that's not putting it into the main tank with the fish, it's taking a watering can out, normal amount into the watering can, and actually doing a foliage feed on the plants itself.
Thanks, Kalinda. I'm going to be busy. Look at these guys. They're so cute. Now, I'm going to take this back and get my aquaponics system into shape, but I'm also going to take a look at my ponds because I want a whole heap of these beautiful water lilies, which I'll show you when I come back next week. Well, that's it for this week's show. I hope you enjoyed it. It has been a pleasure bringing you the Garden Gurus. We always love sharing advice, and we've got lots more coming for you next week. If you want to know anything more from today's show, all you have to do is simply check out our website or become a friend on Facebook, and we'll answer your questions for you. I'm Trevor Cochran. I'll see you next week with the gang for another episode of the Garden Gurus.